And so I see this changing. And how that connects to well-being is well-being has many facets to it. Typically, we think of well-being as going to the gym
Mm.
and taking care of our bodies. And that is a really important part of well-being.
Mm.
Um, we have to take care of ourselves. We have to start with I. We have to, the mindfulness practice that is really proliferating right now is so important. It's such an important aspect
Mm.
of what we're talking about in well-being in business.
Mm.
And that is that the mindfulness practice really helps us to see ourselves and to be able to slow it down enough to see how we're reacting in the world and to be able to make a different choice, one based on wisdom. And so mindfulness is at the center of this well-being. But when I'm talking about well-being in business, it goes into the next dimension. And that is that the economy has to orient itself towards well-being. We have to, it's like well-being becoming the destination towards which our economy is orienting itself. And that is that we're looking at the whole picture. We're looking at the entire, at every aspect. We're not hiding anymore the externalities. We can't pretend like this community in South America that has been devastated from the water and the oil that's in their water system now, or anything like that, that we can't hide from that. Well-being is taking a holistic look at all of this entire system, this whole entire global system, and saying, I'm not well until everyone's well. And that my business participates in this well-being. And there's a lot of changes that have to happen in order to do that. And I know we're capable of it, and I see it happening. I see it happening little by little. And the more we talk about it, and the more we change our story and our beliefs, and more we don't accept the fact that in order for me to thrive, somebody else, there's always going to be poverty. I mean, that's a story we have in our head. There's always going to be poverty. There's always going to be pollution. There's always going to be devastation. No, that's not true. That's a story. That's a story that we accept, that we tell ourselves when we accept. We can tell ourselves a whole nother story, because if we've created it, we can uncreate it, and we can create something new. And so it's up to us at this point in time, I believe, as we see, the parts per million in the CO2 in the atmosphere climbing, as we see more, just so much of the planet. I was just seeing this article the other day on all the major lakes in the planet drying up, how many of them are drying up, photographs of just dry beds that just made me cry, just made me cry. When I even think of myself as a kid, and my sister said to me once, it was very interesting, she said, I'm from California, right? And we lived in LA, and not far, and we would go to the beach. We lived outside far enough so that when we drove closer and closer to the beach, you start smelling the sea. You smell that smell of the sea, and then you get closer and closer, and this intense smell of the sea, and it just felt so good. And she said one day, and I hadn't realized it, she said, you realize we don't smell the sea anymore? And I just thought, that hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't smell the sea. You have to be right in it. I was 20 miles away and I start to smell it as we're driving towards it. This is the kind of thing that is just devastating. And so well-being in business is about looking at the entire ecosystem as one human system, if you will, that needs to be well, that all of it is integrated and connected, and it all has to be well. And what is our part? our part is to do the personal work, absolutely the personal work that we spoke of, the body, the spirit, the mind, and for that to translate into our work and our business, and to see the whole and to see the part that we play in it.
So